Archangel Michael says, 2 hours left. Archangel Michael says, I order you to open it quickly, don't tell anyone. It's only for you. They're setting up a meeting to discuss your removal of, open it quickly. Before you read any further, take a moment to breathe, let go of the weight you've been silently carrying, and allow your heart to receive this message meant only for you. You did not stumble here by mistake. Nothing about this moment is accidental. This was always written, always meant to reach your spirit, exactly when you needed it most. If you are reading this, then your soul has been called to awaken, to remember, and to receive the love of God in a way that will wrap around your life like a healing wind and never let go. Type 1212 if you believe. Somewhere in the unseen, Archangel Michael stands firm, his sword of light drawn not for war, but to protect the destiny God has placed upon your life. You may feel tired, worn down by whispers of betrayal, or overwhelmed by voices planning your failure. You might be silently battling thoughts that say you are not enough, that the door is about to close, that they are meeting behind your back to end what you've worked so hard for. But none of those things will ever define what God has already spoken over your life. When He says you are chosen, no meeting can cancel it. When He declares you are anointed, no whisper can erase it. When He places His favor on you, no human being can remove it. You are not here to beg for belonging. You are not here to prove your worth to those who misunderstand your heart. You are not a mistake, not an accident, not a replaceable part of a plan. You are the beloved of God, handcrafted with divine breath, carried in the mind of your Creator before the earth had shape or name. Even when it feels like everything is collapsing, God is quietly building what you cannot yet see. And while others might be plotting what they think is your end, heaven is preparing your next beginning. You are walking into a time where God's presence will become your shelter, His timing your safety, and His voice your compass. You will no longer need to explain yourself to those who never really saw your spirit. The Lord is not just stepping in to silence your enemies. He is stepping in to remind you that no weapon formed against you will ever succeed because you were never walking alone. Every silent cry, every quiet prayer, every sleepless night when you whispered, God, I don't know what to do, reached Him. None of it was missed. There is a shift happening now. You don't have to see it to believe it. You don't have to feel strong to stand in it. You just have to trust. Not in your plans, not in what others promised, but in what God has already begun to do in the background. He sees your heart. He sees the fear you're hiding under your smile. And still, He calls you brave, not because you have all the answers, but because you stayed when you could have walked away. You endured when giving up would have been easier. And that, beloved, is strength. Type 1111 if you trust in God. Some situations might look urgent, even frightening. When you hear, 2 hours left, something inside might panic, as if something will be lost, stolen, or broken. But God does not live in countdowns or clocks. He works in eternity. His timing is never late, never rushed, never dictated by fear or threat. That meeting they're planning, that discussion they're having about you, God already sat in the room before they even entered it. He knows their intentions, their conversations, and even their doubts about you. And still, He says, do not be afraid. What if everything you've been chasing, wealth, freedom, success, could be drawn to you automatically, simply by unlocking a secret brain wave hidden inside you? Once classified by intelligence agencies, this discovery is now available to the public, and it's changing lives instantly. Picture yourself debt-free, stress-free, and thriving. The window is open, but not forever, and every second you wait is wealth slipping from your hands, so grasp it now. Click the link in video description and comments below to awaken this money magnet frequency and watch abundance flow into your life today. They may speak of removing you, but heaven speaks of raising you. Where man tries to exclude, God invites in. Where doors seem to shut, God creates new ones. And where people try to erase your name, God writes it in places they can never reach. You are not at the mercy of their decisions. You are under the covering of divine mercy, and it is God who holds your future, not them. He has a purpose for your presence, and no voice in the world can speak louder than the will of God. If you've been waiting for a sign that God is still with you, let this be that sign. This message isn't to stir fear, but to pull you into the safety of your Father's love. He sees you. He knows the battles they don't see, the wounds they don't understand. He is not distant, not silent, not ignoring your pain. He's near, closer than your breath, wrapping you in strength even when you feel broken. You are not forgotten. You are not replaceable. You are held. Let this truth settle deep into your spirit. No matter what they say, no matter what they try to do, no one can remove what God has planted. You are rooted in love, grounded in grace, and called to rise in a way that brings healing, not just to yourself, but to others around you. Your story isn't ending, it's beginning again. Only this time, God is writing it where no one else can alter the lines. This part of your journey is not a punishment, nor is it a sign that God has abandoned the path He laid beneath your feet. It is a moment of turning, a quiet shift in the spiritual realm where the Lord begins rearranging the pieces of your life so gently that you may not notice the movement, yet you will feel the results soon enough. You might sense pressure, uncertainty, or the presence of people moving against you, but their actions do not hold the power they imagine, because every force that tries to push you out of the place where God has positioned you will find itself exhausted by the strength of His protection. Type 222 if you believe in God's shield. There is something deeply sacred about this chapter you are stepping into, because it's not being guided by the opinions of those who misunderstand you, nor is it shaped by conversations happening behind closed doors. It is being shaped by the hand of the Lord, who sees what no human eye can see and understands what no human heart can fully comprehend. You may have felt surrounded by judgment or suspicion, as if people were watching you not with kindness, but with quiet hopes of your downfall. Yet God saw that too, and instead of letting their words define your direction, He is transforming those moments into stepping stones that lead you further into your purpose. Every unfair moment, every unkind whisper, every attempt to push you aside is becoming part of the foundation God is building under your feet, because He knows how to take what was meant to break you and turn it into what strengthens you. Sometimes the hardest seasons are the ones that feel most confusing, especially when you are trying to obey, trying to trust, trying to remain faithful even when the path feels dim. Yet this is when heaven draws closest, not with loud signs or dramatic displays, but with the quiet reassurance that whispers into your spirit and reminds you that you are never alone. Angels walk beside you in ways you cannot fully see, but you sense them in moments when you feel sudden peace despite the chaos, or when you feel held even though no one is physically near. Archangel Michael is watching over you with fierce devotion, not to frighten you, but to remind you that you are worth defending in ways you don't even realize. There are people who have underestimated your resilience, believing that a few challenges or cold words would cause you to fall apart, but they do not understand the depth of your connection to God. They do not see the prayers you whisper early in the morning or the quiet tears you wipe away when no one is looking. They do not see how you choose love even when hurt would be easier, how you choose forgiveness even when anger would make more sense. They do not see the strength it takes to carry grace in a world where many carry judgment. And because they do not see these things, they assume you are fragile, yet God knows you are far stronger than they think. Not because you carry confidence in yourself, but because you carry confidence in Him. There are moments when the spiritual battles become so strong that you feel it in your chest, in your thoughts, even in your breath. You might feel an unseen pressure trying to discourage you or cloud your mind with doubt, but you need to remember that this is happening not because you are weak, but because you are nearing a breakthrough that heaven refuses to let you miss. When the darkness senses you are getting closer to the light God has prepared for you, it often tries to distract you, unsettle you, or convince you that you are losing. But you are not losing. You are transitioning. You are shifting from what was into what will be, and that movement always invites spiritual resistance, but you are wrapped in divine protection. Type 555 if you trust that God is clearing your path. A beautiful truth rests above your life. God has never once abandoned a child He loves, and He will not start with you. What feels uncertain to you is clear to Him. What feels heavy to you is light in His hands. What feels delayed to you is perfectly timed in His plan. There is not a single moment that He has overlooked, not a single struggle He has ignored, not a single fear He has dismissed. Your heart matters to Him. Your pain matters to Him. Your story matters to Him. And now, as you step deeper into the unfolding of what God has prepared, you may feel a gentle stirring in your spirit, a sense that something is changing, even if you cannot fully express it. That feeling is not your imagination. It is the Holy Spirit preparing you for a new level of peace, a new measure of clarity, and a new season of growth that will reveal why the past months were so difficult. Every battle had purpose. Every tear had meaning. Every challenge held a lesson that you were meant to carry into your next season. Heaven heard them all. You may have walked through long seasons of waiting, where doors stayed closed and answers felt far away, but even in that stillness, something sacred was unfolding beneath the surface. God never lets waiting go to waste. He uses it to shape, to shield, and to prepare. You are not behind. You are being positioned. Type yes to affirm your faith. There is something powerful happening around you right now, something not visible to the natural eye but deeply felt in the spirit. While others may be making plans, holding discussions, and forming judgments behind your back, heaven is rewriting the ending they thought they controlled. What people forget is that they can make their decisions, but only God determines the outcome. He is not surprised by their motives or caught off guard by their actions. He sees the meetings before they happen, hears the words before they are spoken, and prepares a greater blessing in the very place they thought they could remove you from. What they don't understand is that your presence is not the result of luck, popularity, or politics. It is the result of divine placement. You didn't place yourself where you are. God did. He chose you for this time, this place, this calling. So no matter how carefully they plan your removal, they cannot unseat what God has appointed. The more they speak against you, the more heaven speaks for you. The more they try to erase your presence, the more God reveals your purpose. What if the fastest path to wealth was already inside your mind, waiting to be activated by a powerful sound wave? Scientists call it the money-attracting frequency, and once awakened, it begins drawing opportunities, success, and financial freedom like never before. Imagine the relief of no more bills and the joy of living your dreams. This is more than an offer, it is a divine turning point. Your destiny is waiting, but only if you choose to move now. Click the link in the video description and comments below to turn on this ancient brain wave today. And while the world watches from the outside, God works in the deepest places of your heart. He knows what you've lost, what you've given up, and what you continue to sacrifice just to stay in alignment with His will. He sees the moments you wanted to give up but chose instead to get back up. He saw the night you stayed up crying, unsure of what would come next. And He sent angels to guard your rest even then. Archangel Michael did not move with haste. He moved with divine precision, knowing that your protection was not just about physical safety, but about preserving your destiny. You may not feel strong all the time. In fact, lately you might have felt tired, as if you're carrying something too big for your own hands. That's because you were never meant to carry it alone. God has been trying to remind you, through the stillness and the soft moments, that He is with you. You were never abandoned. He walks into every battle ahead of you, fights every unseen enemy beside you, and covers your back where others have tried to harm you. This is not just about survival anymore. It's about renewal. You are not just making it through. You are being made new. Every day that you chose love over bitterness, mercy over revenge, and kindness over silence, heaven noticed. God keeps record of every seed you sowed in faith, even when no one else acknowledged it. And now, those seeds are about to bloom. Not because you forced them to, but because you stayed faithful. You held on to your belief when others let go. You clung to hope when the world told you to give up. That quiet faith is what is unlocking the next part of your journey. A part no one can take from you. Type 666 if you trust Jesus with your journey. This world will often tell you that you need to rush, compete, or prove yourself. But the kingdom of God moves differently. It doesn't reward noise. It honors faithfulness. It doesn't celebrate pride. It exalts the humble. You have walked humbly. You have stayed quiet when you could have fought back. You have loved even when it wasn't returned. And God is about to lift you in such a way that others will be left wondering how you remained so calm in the storm. The answer is simple: you trusted the one who controls the wind. Let your heart rest in this truth: God never lets His children fall unnoticed. Every tear you cried in silence has been turned into oil that will anoint you in the open. Every rejection you endured will become a testimony of restoration. Every plan that was meant to push you out will become a platform that lifts you higher. Not because you forced it, but because God's favor finds those who trust Him through the quiet pain, through the betrayal, through the long seasons of not knowing. Right now, even as you read these words, God is doing something you didn't expect. He is softening the hearts of people who spoke against you. He is opening doors you never knocked on. He is placing your name in rooms you never entered. And all of this is happening because you kept walking when it hurt, kept praying when it was quiet, and kept believing even when nothing made sense. That kind of faith cannot be stolen. It is too deeply rooted. So let them talk. Let them plan. Let them hold their meetings in secrecy. Because while they are gathering in shadows, the light of God is covering you. You are safe. You are seen. You are held. And what's coming next will not be delayed by their actions. It will arrive right on time, covered in grace, wrapped in peace, and soaked in the presence of the Holy Spirit. Heaven was there when you held your breath through the storms, when you walked away from the noise just to protect your peace, and when you kept believing in the promises even while surrounded by disappointment. Every step you took in silence is now echoing in eternity, and the response is coming, not just in words, but in healing, in release, in divine restoration. Type 1919 to receive miracles from God. They said you were too quiet, too soft, too kind. They mistook your silence for weakness and your gentleness for passivity. But what they didn't understand is that your quietness was never fear, it was reverence. It was trust. It was faith that said, I don't need to fight this battle, because I know who fights for me. And while they gathered in circles, whispered in hallways, and planned in secret, God remained your defender. His silence did not mean absence. His stillness did not mean delay. It meant He was watching, waiting, working, preparing a victory that would not just comfort you, but teach others what it means to walk with God in truth and humility. There are people who assumed your story had reached its end, that you were finished, forgotten, no longer part of what comes next. But they were wrong. Not because you proved them wrong, but because God was never finished writing. He is still shaping your days, still breathing life into places where hope was fading, still planting peace in the ground where others tried to sow chaos. You may not understand why it had to happen this way, why you had to be left out, talked about, or looked over, but the truth is, it was part of your protection. God sometimes allows distance, not to punish you, but to protect you from rooms and decisions that could have harmed what He's building in you. There's a sacred covering around you now, like a gentle cloud of grace that shields you from what no longer serves your spirit. You've outgrown the noise, the pressure, the constant need to explain yourself. You don't need validation to walk in your calling. You don't need approval to remain in God's favor. The ones who need to understand will, and the ones who never tried to understand were never meant to guide your journey. You are not missing out. You are being led in a way that cannot be interrupted. After decades in government lockdown, a short 9-word phrase has resurfaced, and those who whisper it daily are experiencing miracles of money and freedom. Researchers say it switches on a hidden abundance circuit in the brain, the same one billionaires unknowingly rely on. It's easy, fast, and astonishingly powerful. Click the link before this rare discovery is censored again. You might feel like you're in between seasons right now, no longer where you were, but not yet where you're going. That space can feel uncomfortable. It can feel like something's off, like you're suspended in the unknown. But that space is not empty. It's holy. It's where God rewrites identities, heals deep wounds, and speaks truths that cannot be spoken in crowded places. This is where your strength is being renewed. This is where your spirit is being reminded that it is not the world that decides your direction, it is God. And He is leading you into something so personal, so precious, that it had to be prepared away from the eyes of others. Type 1212 if you walk by faith and not by sight. Archangel Michael stands guard not because danger surrounds you, but because destiny does. You are close to something sacred, something that will not only bless you but overflow into the lives of others. And the enemy knows that. That's why the attacks have been so subtle, so emotional, so internal. The battle hasn't just been around you, it's been inside of you. In your thoughts, in your emotions, in your fears. But those are not signs of weakness. They are signs of resistance. Resistance against the old trying to hold you back from the new. Resistance against doubt trying to block what faith is preparing. You are stronger than the storm, not because of who you are, but because of who walks with you. You are not just surviving, you are becoming. Becoming more compassionate, more discerning, more anchored in truth. The pain tried to take you out, but instead, it refined you. The loss tried to break you, but instead, it deepened your heart. And now, you are rising, not loud, not flashy, but steady, rooted, unshakable. God is lifting you from places where you were overlooked into places where your presence will be a blessing. Not to prove anything to others, but to fulfill everything He promised. What's ahead of you does not look like what you've been through. You are stepping into favor, into joy, into ease. Not because life will suddenly become perfect, but because your heart will be aligned with peace. The kind of peace that doesn't depend on people. The kind that doesn't crumble when plans change. The peace that says, even here, even now, God is with me, and that's enough. So rest tonight knowing this, what you thought would be the end is just a beginning in disguise. The prayers you thought went unanswered are about to return as unexpected blessings. The moments you thought were wasted are about to make sense. And the love of God that has surrounded you since the day you were born will never stop reaching for you, lifting you, guiding you. No meeting, no plan, no voice raised against you will ever be louder than the one who called you worthy. Sometimes, the heaviness in your soul wasn't because you were weak, but because you were walking through a sacred fire that would refine you, not destroy you. And while others judged your silence or questioned your distance, heaven knew you were being shaped in ways too deep for human understanding. Type 2323 if you agree. There are wounds within you that no one else sees, and yet they haven't made you bitter. Instead, you've chosen to keep loving, to keep showing up, to keep hoping even when your heart ached. That kind of courage does not go unnoticed in heaven. It is written into the pages of your life like golden ink that glows in the spirit. God sees the nights you stayed quiet instead of defending yourself. He sees the times you held your tongue when you were misunderstood. He sees how often you've walked away from what looked easier, simply because it didn't align with His voice. This world may never fully grasp your obedience, but the kingdom does, and it rejoices over you. There's something about the quiet ones, the kind ones, the ones who don't shout about their pain or broadcast their victories. You are one of those people, the kind who carry others' burdens, who speak blessings even when carrying your own storms. People often overlook that kind of soul because they're so used to noise and show, but God doesn't overlook it. In fact, that kind of faith is what He favors. Not the loudest. Not the most seen. But the most surrendered. And you, beloved, have been surrendering parts of yourself that no one else even knew were breaking. Even as people meet in secret to plan what they think is your ending, God is whispering your new beginning. You may not hear it yet, but He's already spoken it. And what God speaks cannot be silenced by any earthly voice. They can hold their meetings, make their decisions, and speak their opinions, but they do not hold your future. Heaven does. And heaven has already chosen you for more. There are some doors that seem to close recently, and maybe they hurt more than you thought they would. Some people drifted, some turned cold, some pulled away without warning. It's okay to grieve that. It's okay to admit that it wounded something inside of you. But please know, those doors didn't close because you failed. They closed because they were too small for where God is taking you. You didn't lose anything that was meant to stay. You didn't miss anything that was meant for you. What you have now is room. Room for peace. Room for healing. Room for joy that doesn't need to be earned through exhaustion. Type Amen if you believe. Archangel Michael doesn't guard what is fading. He stands beside what is rising. His presence in your life is a sign that you are entering territory that is blessed, protected, and marked for something higher than survival. This next part of your life will not look like the last. You won't have to beg for clarity. You won't have to plead for respect. You won't have to shrink yourself just to be tolerated. You're going to walk into rooms where your presence will feel like peace, and where your spirit will feel safe. Not because those places are perfect, but because they are prepared by God for you. A secret 9-word prayer, once classified under a forgotten program, is now reshaping lives across the globe. People are seeing unexpected deposits, financial breakthroughs, and emotional peace within days of using it. Scientists confirm it rewires the subconscious to attract prosperity naturally. It takes seconds, but the results can last a lifetime. Don't delay, click the link before it disappears. And if right now it feels like everything is unraveling, please trust this: you are not falling apart, you are shedding what cannot stay with you in the next season. You're not being broken, you're being freed. And the ache you feel is not punishment. It's release. The old expectations, the false identities, the pressure to prove yourself, they're all being removed so that the real you, the one God has always seen, can breathe again. You've carried so much in silence. Your heart has been faithful even when tired, loyal even when overlooked. And now, it's your time. Not to fight for recognition. Not to chase acceptance. But to rest in the truth that God has never stopped seeing you. He has never stopped calling you worthy. His love for you hasn't wavered, not once, not even when you questioned your own worth. He still sees his child, brave and beloved, capable and covered in grace. Let your heart receive this now. Nothing about your story is over. Not the dreams. Not the healing. Not the promises. In fact, something new is beginning even now. It's quiet. It's slow. But it's sure. God is weaving something gentle and beautiful, a future soaked in His peace and wrapped in His presence. You won't have to chase it. It will find you. Because grace always finds those who trust even when they're tired, and love even when they're lonely. And when you finally get a moment to sit in silence, it's there, the ache, the tiredness, the wondering if things will ever get easier. But I want to remind you of something so simple, yet so powerful. God sees all of it. Every hidden tear, every silent prayer, every battle you fight alone is fully known by Him. And not one moment of it is wasted. Not one. Type 2020 to claim miracles over your life. What others may see as your quietness is actually the strength of your soul. It takes more courage to love in silence than to shout in anger. It takes more grace to keep moving forward with kindness than to harden your heart in response to pain. God delights in the gentleness of your spirit, in the way you carry others when your arms feel tired, in how you whisper encouragement to people who never even notice how much you're hurting too. And because of that, He is lifting you in ways you don't yet see. There is a rising happening within you, not the kind that the world recognizes right away, but the kind heaven celebrates. You are learning to let go, not in defeat, but in faith. Letting go of trying to control everything, letting go of needing others to understand you, letting go of the idea that your worth is measured by how much you do. You're learning that your value was never in your accomplishments, it was always in your being. Just being His child. Just being loved. Just being held by the one who created you. God is doing something new in your life, something gentle and holy that can't be rushed. That's why it feels like everything is slowing down or shifting in uncomfortable ways. That's why you feel disconnected from things that once felt important, and drawn toward a peace you can't explain. You're being led out of survival and into stability. Out of striving and into stillness. God is not asking you to do more. He's asking you to trust more. There's a moment in every life where things begin to change without warning, where relationships shift, opportunities close, or unexpected challenges rise. For many, this feels like rejection or failure. But for the ones who walk with God, it is redirection. It's not loss. It's movement. You're being moved from the familiar into the divine. From what was into what is becoming. And while it may feel disorienting now, it's going to make sense soon. You were never meant to stay in a place where your spirit was constantly questioned, where your kindness was taken for granted, or where your light was dimmed just to keep others comfortable. God is calling you into spaces where your heart will feel seen, where your soul will be nourished, and where your presence will no longer be tolerated but treasured. These spaces may not look like what you expected, but they will feel like peace, and that's how you'll know they're from Him. Type 777 if you believe your peace is coming. There are voices in your past that tried to convince you that you weren't enough. There are decisions others made that made you feel invisible. But God is healing that part of you now. The part that learned to stay small. The part that thought love had to be earned. The part that accepted less than you deserved because it was afraid nothing better would come. Those beliefs are breaking. And in their place, truth is rising. Truth that says you are worthy of love that feels like home. You are worthy of rest without guilt. You are worthy of joy that doesn't come with conditions. Archangel Michael watches closely, not just as a protector, but as a witness. He sees your growth. He sees your quiet victories. He sees the times you chose not to retaliate when you were hurt, the times you loved with nothing in return, and the times you forgave people who never apologized. Those moments matter more than you know. They are building a life of deep spiritual strength, the kind of strength that cannot be taken away no matter who tries to speak against you. What God is about to bring into your life won't just answer your prayers, it will comfort the parts of you that didn't even know they needed healing. The gentle dreams you tucked away long ago, the quiet hopes you buried because life felt too hard, He is reviving those. Not all at once, and not through loud miracles. But through consistent grace, one day at a time. One morning you'll wake up and realize the anxiety is lighter, the pain is quieter, the joy is louder. You'll laugh without fear again. You'll trust without hesitation again. You'll love without guarding your heart so tightly. Not because life is perfect, but because your soul has been restored. What if 7 minutes could rewrite your financial future forever? This hidden frequency, backed by neuroscience, flips the brain's natural wealth switch, unleashing unstoppable prosperity. People are calling it the money magnet sound, and it's already transforming lives. But hesitation means missing out while others move ahead. This is your moment to act. Click the link in the video description and comments below to awaken the wealth inside you today before the chance slips away. No weapon formed against you has worked. You're still here. Still standing. Still walking in faith, even if your steps are slow. That, dear heart, is a testimony. And it's only the beginning. The people who doubted you, the ones who dismissed you or tried to silence you, they don't get the final say. God does. And His final word over your life is not judgment. It's love. It's redemption. It's restoration. There is grace for that. There is grace for the weariness you carry. There is grace for the broken parts you hide behind your smile. And above all, there is a love so strong that even on your hardest days, it never lets go of you. You don't have to be perfect to be held. You don't have to be strong to be chosen. You just have to be honest with God, and He will meet you right where you are. Type 333 if you believe He will meet you. This is not the end of your story. Not the moment where it all falls apart, but the sacred point where everything begins to unfold as it was always meant to. You see, God often works in silence. He moves behind the curtain, arranging pieces you cannot see, shifting things in your favor even when it feels like everything is standing still. What you think is a delay is often divine protection. What you think is rejection is often redirection. And what feels like the enemy trying to tear you down may just be God clearing the path of anything that no longer serves your spirit. They may have planned to remove you, to replace you, to forget your name and exclude your presence, but what they did not plan for is the God who goes before you, the one who calls you by name and opens doors no man can shut. They do not have the authority they think they do. Their plans will not prosper. Their meetings will not define your path. What was spoken behind your back will not shake the foundation God has placed under your feet. You are covered, beloved. Not by human hands, but by holy ones. You may feel the tension right now, like you're standing in a place between letting go and holding on, between the past that hurt you and the future that hasn't arrived yet. It can feel like you're in limbo, floating in a place where you're not sure what's real anymore. But please know this, you are not lost. You are being led. And the one leading you is faithful. He is not guiding you into confusion or fear. He is guiding you into freedom, into peace, into the fullness of who you were created to be. The battle you're in is not just about today, it's about your calling. It's about the lives you're meant to touch, the healing you're meant to bring, the light you carry that threatens the darkness. That's why the resistance has been so strong. That's why the pressure has felt so personal. Because what's inside of you is powerful. And the enemy knows that if you ever fully believe in who you are in Christ, nothing will stop you. But here's the truth, you're already stepping into that belief, whether you realize it or not. Every prayer you whisper, every tear you shed, every time you choose love over anger, it's all making you stronger. Type 999 if you trust in your calling. There are angels assigned to your life who have never left your side. Archangel Michael stands not just to defend you from harm, but to remind you of your identity when you start to forget. He doesn't move in fear, he moves in power, with a purpose to protect what God has placed in you. Every time you felt unsafe, every moment you thought you were alone, heaven was closer than your next breath. You are never without help. You are never without protection. You may not always see the way, but the way is still being made. Every closed door is making room for a better one. Every no is leading you toward a more divine yes. And every ending you've experienced lately is really just the beginning in disguise. God does not remove without replacing. He does not prune without purpose. And He never lets go without holding tighter from a new direction. So if all you can do right now is breathe, then breathe. If all you can do is sit in stillness, then sit. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are not forgotten. You are walking in obedience, even if your steps are trembling. God honors that. He blesses that. He multiplies that. And He brings beauty from the ashes others tried to bury you under. People may never know the battles you've fought. They may never understand the cost of your obedience. But God knows. He knows how hard it was to stay soft when everything in you wanted to grow cold. He knows the inner war between silence and truth, and how you chose peace every time. He knows how you showed up, again and again, even when your heart wasn't sure it could keep going. And He is proud of you, not because you were perfect, but because you were faithful. He's not done with you. There's more to come, more peace, more healing, more joy than you've imagined. Not because you chased it, but because you trusted Him. You surrendered. You waited. You kept believing. And now, heaven is responding. The ground is shifting. The atmosphere around your life is changing. Not overnight, but steadily, like the sunrise after a long, dark night. It's coming. And when it does, you'll see clearly why the journey had to unfold the way it did. It lives in the way you still choose to trust God, even though the last few seasons have broken pieces of your heart. That kind of strength is sacred, and heaven honors it in ways this world may never fully understand. Your strength is not just survival, it's faithfulness. It's the reflection of a heart that refuses to stop believing, even when there's no sign yet. Type 888 if you are still believing. The truth is simple: you were created for abundance, yet a dormant brain signal has been holding you back. Scientists call it the money-attracting frequency, and once awakened, it pulls wealth into your life like never before. Others who pressed play once are already transformed, living the life they dreamed of. Do not hesitate or let regret steal this chance. Click the link in the video description and comments below to unlock your prosperity now. The people who question your journey will never understand the depth of your surrender. They don't know the nights you cried out to God in silence, begging for peace. They weren't there when you gave up things that felt comfortable, all for the sake of staying in alignment with His plan. And yet, they speak. They speculate. They assume. But God has always known the truth. He knows what you've endured, what you've released, what you've been obedient to even when it cost you comfort or connection. His eyes have never left you. Not even once. They may be planning your removal in silence, but heaven is planning your revival. What you thought was rejection is actually redirection. God is moving you, not because you failed, but because He has prepared something greater. And He knew they couldn't go with you. Not because they're bad people, but because their presence would have made you question what you already know, what God has already whispered to you in the quiet, that your calling is yours alone. It does not require validation. It does not require permission. It only requires trust. And you, beloved, have trusted deeply. Amen.